solving two-step equations or solving any type of equations, you're going to have three of the same important rules. The first rule is to get the variable by itself. That's our main goal. We always want to get that variable by itself. The golden rule is whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. And then the last important rule, in order to get rid of things on one side of the equation, you must do the blank operation. For example, if it's addition, what is the opposite of addition?
Subtract.
What's that called when I say the opposite? What's the true term for that? When you do the opposite of the operation it's asking you to do. Starts with an I. Yeah, inverse operation. Good. So write down inverse operation on that line there. Okay, so example number 1, you're going to have 3a plus 8. Joey, keep your hands to yourself. 3a plus 8. Now, we're used to seeing just one number with the variable on the side. But now we have 2. We have 2 different operations there. That's why it's called a two-step equation. We have multiplication, there's the first operation, and addition, there's the second operation. So two-step equation. Now, you can't just pick any random number to start with to get rid of. There's a certain order that you have to do. When we normally would solve an expression that has more than 1 or 2 numbers, we'd use PEMDAS. But because we have a variable in there that we're trying to figure out what it equals to, we're going to have to use PEMDAS backwards. So what would PEMDAS be backwards? What would PEMDAS be backwards? Think about it. Think about it. What would PEMDAS be backwards?
Let me write it.
Yeah, write it down. Well, tell me the letters then.
P-E-M-D-A-S.
So what would that be backwards?
SADMEP.
SADMEP. SADMEP. So basically, in order to get this variable by itself, we're going to do order of operations backwards. So we're going to do, instead of doing PEMDAS, we're going to do SADMEP. So it's just backwards. So the first thing that I do, I look, and it's an S. S stands for subtraction. Do I have any subtraction problems here? No. So then I look, the next letter is A. Do I have any addition?
Yes.
That's what I get rid of first, that plus 8. So what's the inverse operation for plus? So then on my left side, I have to bring down the 3a. I haven't gotten rid of that 3 yet. It's still with the a. Then what's 14 minus 8?
6.
Now you're just left with a one-step equation. Yeah, so to get the a by itself, we're going to divide each side by 3.
2.
Give me a sec. So bring down our variable a equals, then 6 divided by 3, 2.
So you always start with addition. This food.
Well, we're doing order of operations backwards. So if there was a subtraction, we'd start with that. But we're going to go in this order. So what I like to do, every worksheet I get, when I'm solving more than one-step equation, every quiz, every test, I write this above it right at the beginning because that helps me determine where do I start, what do I do first. Okay, let's take a look at example number 2. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can solve this one. One, you can just solve it as it is. Or the second way, you can solve it by distributive property. Do you guys want to distribute or do you want to solve it as it is? Okay, so So we're going to solve it as it is. So we're going to circle our variable. We're going to draw our line of equality. Now, you're going to go back up and look and do order of operations backwards. So the first one you're going to look at, subtraction. Is there a subtraction problem? There is, but where is that subtraction problem located? And when do we do parentheses? Last. So we can't do that. So then we go to addition. Is there any addition? Any division?
No.
Any multiplication?
Yes.
Yes. What number is being multiplied there? So what's the opposite of multiply?
Division.
So we're going to divide each side by 3. So on my left side, I write down b minus 4. Do I need to keep that in parentheses?
Yeah.
No, you don't need to. Can you? You can, but it's just extra writing then. So then 21 divided by 3.
7. 8.
Hey, take it back a little bit. So now we have b minus 4 equals 7, a one-step equation. Haley, how do I get the b by itself?
You plus 4 on each side.
So my 4's cancel on my left, on my right.
That'd be 11. B equals 11. And you square that.
How about box it?
Sorry.
If I square that, I put a little exponent 2 behind it. We don't want to do that. Not yet. That's in like 3 lessons.
Oh no.
Okay. Example number 2. Let's take a look at example number 3. Okay. Now, this one's a little complicated. So when you first initially look at this problem, you have a top and a bottom. Now your top part here is not just the variable. So it's not just c divided by 3. It's going to be c plus 7 divided by 3. So normally when you have a group of numbers like that as the numerator, you'd put parentheses around it. So we're going to go ahead and put parentheses around that. Now, because there's parentheses around that top part, what number would I have to get rid of first?
The 3.
The 3. So how do I get rid of that 3?
Minus by 3.
So then on my left side, I just bring down the c plus 7 equals, and my right side, what's 4 times 3?
12.
And we're right back to a one-step equation.
Divided 7.
So then c equals, it's 12 minus 7.
9.
I think I agree with the 5. Good. All right. Example number 4. Now we have another fraction or division bar, but do I have a group of numbers at the top? No. So that's not going to be considered a parenthesis. So I'm going to circle my variable, I'm going to draw my line of equality, and then I'm going to use order of operations backwards to determine where I start. So looking up here, do I have any subtraction?
Yeah.
That's where I start. So how do I get rid of my minus 7?
Plus.
On my left side, what do I bring down?
D.
Just d?
By 4.
D divided by 4 equals, what's negative 2 plus 7? 5. Now, I need to get the d by itself. So how am I going to get the d by itself here?
Times it by 4.
So then d equals
20.
final answer. Okay. They'll go fast. They'll go by fast. Don't worry. All right, next 4. So before we do the next 4 example problems, you guys already know this, but when solving equations with multiple steps, you use order of operation backwards to get the variable by itself. So as we determine, order of operations written backwards kind of spells out SADMAP. Okay. This problem here is going to be your next example. So you can go ahead and write that down. So this problem here is going to be your example, right, Haley? You want to go ahead and write that down? So order of operations, and then 3 plus g divided by 2 equals -1 will be example number 5. If you want, go ahead and try to solve it while you're waiting on me. Okay. What do I do first? Yeah, I subtract what? So I'm subtracting 3 from both sides. 3's cancel. So what do I bring down on my left side? And my right side, what's -1 minus 3? Okay. Get the variable by itself. What type of 8? Nice. How do we do on that one?
I did that.
I waited.
It's a really ugly G, isn't it? That one? That one, I don't know what happened to it. It does. Kind of dented in there. All right, example number 6, moving right along. All right. What do I get rid of first? So that's going to be inverse operation of subtraction is, what'd you say?
Plus.
Addition, yeah. Inverse operation of subtraction is addition. I don't know.
She said +5.
Oh, did she say +5? Do you know what I heard? What do you? I did. Did you hear that too? Okay. All right. Left side, I bring down my 2h. Right side, a -11 plus 5.
-6.
It is -6. All right. Get the h by itself. I divide by 2. So h equals -3. Again, if those negatives are giving you a hard time, use your calculator. If you don't know how to type your negative into your calculator, let Ms. Herzing or I know. We'd be happy to help you or to show you. All right, example number 7. Moving right. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Otherwise, moving right along. Okay. I minus 7 divided by 3. So when I see a problem like this, what should be the first thing that I do to it?
Parentheses.
Yeah, we're going to put parentheses around the top. So if I have parentheses there around the top, what number am I going to get rid of first?
7, -3.
The 3. Well, there's only 2 numbers. Which one are we going for?
The 3.
The 3. How do I get rid of that 3?
Times by 3.
So then, what can I bring down?
The I and -7.
Equals, and then what's -1 times 3?
3.
Yeah, don't forget that negative. And then we're back to a one-step equation. So how do I get the I by itself?
All this 7.
So then I is going to equal -3 plus 7.
-9 or 9.
11.
4.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what?
I haven't heard the right. Woo! Haven't heard the right answer. 4.
Oh.
Positive 4. Good. Think about it. If you owe me $3 and you give me 7, how much money did I make off of you?
And I want you to do
All right, last one. So this particular problem I'm going to solve using distributive property. If you did not use it, if you did not solve this using distributive property, the first thing you probably got rid of then was the 3. But like I said, I'm going to distribute. So what's 3 times j?
3J.
Then I'm going to take 3 times positive 4 and get a positive 12. Okay? Now what do I get rid of? The 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. Cancels. My left side, I'm with 3j. What's 9 minus 12?
Negative 3.
Okay, how do I get the j by itself?
Divided by 3. That's negative 1.
And box. Now, let's say that you didn't distribute. Let's say you have 3j plus 4 equals 9. So let's say that you didn't distribute. According to order of operations backwards, what number would I get rid of first?
The 3.
So how do I get rid of that 3?
Divide by 3.
Divide, because anytime a number touches parentheses, it means to multiply. So I'm going to divide each side by 3. So then I have j plus 4. What's 9 divided by 3?
3.
Okay, how do I get the j by itself?
Minus by 4.
Cancels, so then j equals, sorry, it's slowing,
Well, negative 1.
negative 1.
it's
So,
the same answer.
yeah, so you can either choose to distribute or not. You're going to still get the same answers as long as you're following the same steps. All right.